Hey, welcome back to Garden Rose. Today I'm here to start filming my week of meals for the first week of the Pantry Challenge. So it's already Friday the 5th. So I've been doing this for 2 days. This will be the third day. So just a little recap. I mentioned this in my introduction video that I was just gonna start with some of the smoothies in the morning, and then I took out that pizza pasta casserole, and we were actually able to split that up between dinner that day and then leftovers yesterday, which it was just a small little tin, but we're making it work. We split that up into 4 different servings. My husband is anxiously anticipating how this pantry challenge is gonna go because he usually eats just like 2 meals a day. He has lunch at work and then dinner here. And he's not a big snacker, so he likes his meals to be a little bit bigger. So we're having to work a little bit on like, hey, this is what we've got for dinner, find some other snacks. So we have gone through like cottage cheese, some of those fruit cups. Like we've been snacking a little bit here and there, and I'm not really gonna show all of the individual snacks that we've been working on, just kind of the main meals of what I'm working with. So I still have one of these left, so I still get a smoothie this morning. I wanted to show you guys what these are, the acai berry smoothie packs. I originally said I got these from Sam's Club, but this was just from Meijer. It was just a small pack of 4. If I remember correctly, they were kind of expensive, but I wanted to try them out, and then I think because they were expensive, I was not using them because I was like, oh, that's like a special treat. But that's my problem, is like I want to hold off for like the perfect time to use something, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna enjoy these. And I have been enjoying them. They've been super easy to make. I'm throwing in a frozen banana with it, and I have been using the spinach that I have. But I realized today that I have some frozen spinach. I also have canned spinach, but I'm not sure that that would be that good in a smoothie. So this frozen spinach, I'm gonna use this in my smoothie today and save the fresh spinach for fresh eating and making it feel really good in a meal. So I pulled out this to use with my smoothie today. And then I'm finishing up the rest of that milk that is not expired yet. I mean, the date is expired, but it doesn't smell bad yet, so I'm still using it. I hope you can relate. If not, just ignore that. So I'm using that and working through that with the smoothies, and those have been, I've never been a huge smoothie person, but the smoothies for breakfast have been working really well, and it actually keeps me full until lunch. Like I'm not feeling like I'm starving by the time lunch comes around. And then I did some shopping in my freezer. For the first time, I like went downstairs and went shopping, which was super fun. So in my first video, I also forgot to show you, I actually have 5 or 6 spaghetti squash from the garden. So I wanna, and they're still looking, that's all dirt. They're still looking pretty good. A couple of them had some spots on it, and I had to get rid of those a couple months ago. They weren't really storing that well, but a lot of them are still looking pretty good. So I think for dinner tonight, I'm gonna try to do some sort of spaghetti squash dish. A lot of you guys already gave me some really great ideas, and thank you so much for commenting on the last video. You've really inspired me to like go through the freezer first, especially things that are freezer burned. I was feeling at first like, oh, do I save those things and wait? But someone mentioned like, hey, use them before they get freezer burned. And as you can see, some of this stuff already is. So I've got carrots and Brussels sprouts that have been in there for a long time. These are definitely freezer burned. So I'm gonna have to find something to do with those. But I'm thinking the vegetables, the spaghetti squash, and then I pulled out some of the roasted enchilada sauce that I made, and then just a pound of ground beef. So with all of that, I'm hoping I can make a decent little spaghetti squash mash thing. So we'll see. I'll film that, but that's gonna be dinner tonight, and all these things have to thaw out. So I'm gonna leave those here. I also pulled out some zucchini bread muffins that I made in August. Starting to get a little bit freezer burned, so I figured I would take these out, and these will be good to snack on throughout the week or have for breakfast over the weekend that's coming up. And then I pulled out some of the chicken tortellini soup just so that we have this for lunches. That's a thing that I need to plan ahead a little bit more, because my husband's been like, okay, so what do I take for lunch? Because usually we have leftovers and he'll take the leftovers for lunch. Or he gets on this kick of like a turkey and spinach and mustard wrap, and so he'll just take all that stuff to work and he'll make those. But since I don't have that stuff right now, and we're saying we're not going to the grocery store to do that stuff right now, we're having to be a little bit creative. So he did take there was one more breakfast burrito that we had meal prepped. He took that, and he took peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So that's been his lunches for the week, and he's been very sweet about it. But I know I need to be a little bit better about planning for his lunches too, not just because I kind of pick around with whatever I have at home. I work from home, so I can just pick around. If I'm feeling a little bit snacky, I can have some carrots and hummus, where he has like his planned lunch. So that's something that I want to be a little bit better about. So I'm hoping the soups will kind of come in handy, so we can take some soup. The spaghetti squash dinner will probably be enough for him to take, or for us to have for lunch tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes. So that's a little recap of this first half of the week. I will bring you along when I make this dinner, and we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to use these things. And I know it doesn't look that crazy, like it probably looks like a meal that anybody could put together, but this is making me stretch a little bit outside of what I'm used to. And I'm just hoping it tastes good. I'm hoping these all go well together. So we'll see. But stay tuned for dinner. See you soon. This is cilantro, so not spinach. It's really funny actually, because if you've been with me for a minute, you've seen my struggle with having cilantro on hand. So I thought, hey, freeze it, and then I'll have some. I'm not putting it in my smoothie. Really quick side note, not that this is super important, but I said I'd keep you updated, and I'm just taking you along the way with my brain. Since I still have some of that milk left, I probably have enough for like one more smoothie or one recipe, whatever I end up doing with it. And I have this half gallon of whole milk that is expiring Monday. The sell-by date is Monday. I'm definitely not going to go through it, and I'm probably going to run into the same thing where I'm like chasing down recipes to try to use up the milk before it goes bad. So what I'm actually going to do is just pour some into a mason jar, keep this in the fridge, and then freeze the other half of it. So I'll have milk for maybe 2 weeks instead of just one. So that's what I'm going to do, just to make it a little bit easier for me. But I don't know, if you don't freeze your milk, try freezing your milk. Okay, I know I literally just said I'm not gonna take you along the way for like snacks and things like that, but I think this is different because I'm going to use applesauce from the pantry, not all of it, but I've got this much cranberry sauce left. I have this blueberry preserves, and I've got this raspberry jam that my mother-in-law actually made me, and it's been a minute, so I need to use these things. And I just got an idea from Kelsey at Seed and Sparrow Homestead. She made a fruit leather, and by mixing all these jams and jellies and applesauce together, putting it in my dehydrator, I think I can make a fruit leather. So I'm gonna try that out. I'm super excited because I really wanna find a way to use jam and jelly. Like I said before, that's one of my goals for this challenge, is using things in new ways, and jams and jellies tend to be where I struggle the most. I haven't made a ton, but I've made enough that we can't just have toast every single day with jam on it. So yeah, let's try to make this. Wow, that tastes so good. It's so sweet. I think it's gonna taste like candy when it comes out of the dehydrator. So this might be a success. I'm gonna throw this in my dehydrator at, I think it was 135 for like 6 to 12 hours. So who knows how long it'll take, but I think once it stops getting so tacky and it dries out a little bit, that's when it'll be done. So I'll throw it on my little tray, throw it in the dehydrator, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, well, work's finally over. Not only is it Friday, but it's a Friday after a week following a holiday. So it was a shorter week. Monday was the holiday, but man, those are always tough to come back from. So I'm tired. I'm gonna eat a thawed out zucchini muffin because they thawed out and they are delicious. I'm so excited to have these and get started on dinner. So I'm gonna cut up my spaghetti squash. I usually like to cut it in rings and shred it that way, but I think I'm just gonna cut it in half and put both halves down, roast it that way. I don't think it really changes the time to do it in rings. I think just a recipe called for it that way one time, and I've been doing it that way ever since. But it's really hard to cut. Like, these are pretty thick. They are tough to cut. So just having one cut instead of multiple different rings will probably be a little bit better this time around. So I'm gonna get that going, and that has to roast for like 30-40 minutes. So I'm just gonna let that go, and then I'll get around to my other ingredients.
I got a perfect bite ready.
All right. Here goes nothing. We're gonna see if we like it. I don't think I have a Brussels sprout. Okay.
Oh, I don't
cheers?
either. Yeah, cheers.
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 To the pantry challenge.
That's good.
That's actually pretty good.
Pretty good.
The enchilada sauce is just really flavorful and good.
Yeah.
Makes everything else better. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. That's a full day. I'm not doing anything else. So we'll join again tomorrow when I take on a whole new day of meals. My husband works Saturday mornings, so when he got home, we had, I guess, what would be brunch. This recipe was super nice because he just scrambled up some eggs. We mixed in some of the leftover meat from dinner last night, and as you can see, he was able to empty out some of the jars. We had some cowboy candy and some roasted red peppers that were sitting in the fridge for a while, so he was able to throw that into a burrito and make little breakfast burritos. The other best part about this recipe is that my husband actually enjoys making breakfast. So whenever he gets the chance to make something fun or nice for breakfast, I am happy to pass over the reins and see what he's able to come up with. And he's really good at it. He's really good at folding burritos too, which I can never do this well. I know it sounds silly, but I don't know, he's able to do it pretty well. I also made one last smoothie to go with these burritos, so that helped us be pretty full throughout the whole day. By the time dinner rolled around, we weren't really even that hungry, and I had some cereal, he had some cottage cheese and peaches, and we called it a day. So I'm sure tomorrow will be a bigger food day just with the lack of big meals that we ate today, but this was our day, and it worked out well. Okay, so it's the next day, and I wanted to check in on the fruit leather. I'm honestly not even sure how long it was in the dehydrator because after that 12 hours, my timing was a little bit off. So that 12 hours ended at 12 a.m. So I left it in the dehydrator overnight after it had turned off. And I don't know, I'm still learning about dehydrating. I don't know if leaving it in the dehydrator after it's done in my garage is leading to, I don't know, it's almost like they're getting re-moisturized a little bit. I did apple slices and some of them turned out really great, but some of them were a little bit, they were a little bit chewy. So that's been happening. And here's the fruit leather. So it's starting to shrivel up a little bit and the edges feel okay. And I know this is thicker than maybe what I should have spread it out, but I was trying to put it all on one tray. So maybe it's the thickness of it and the middle is just still tacky. But what I'm gonna do is actually put it in the oven inside and see if that helps. Maybe I just need to pause on the dehydrator for a minute until I really figure it out. And maybe just the garage is not the best place for it. I don't know, I'll try to experiment a little bit and see what's going on. But yeah, I'm gonna pop this in the oven and see if we can get this a little bit more leathery. In some of the places it's coming off and like the edges, it tastes really good. But yeah, it's a little bit sticky. So like it's coming off in certain places and it's pretty like, it's still tacky and it's still sticky and it still feels gummy almost. So I'm just trying to loosen it up from the parchment a little bit. Maybe that'll help when it's in the oven. And I just have the oven on like just under 200 because that's the lowest that my oven goes. So I'll just keep an eye on it and see if it doesn't dry out too quickly, but well, I don't know, we'll see. It's a little bit of a lazy Sunday, so we were able to sleep in and enjoy our coffee with some zucchini bread muffins. And for mine, I decided to try out the corn cob jelly that I made this past year and put that on the muffin. I was pleasantly surprised with how it tasted. I didn't think that it would be bad, and I've heard that it tastes like honey, but I actually could definitely taste the corn, and I really like corn, so I'm not mad about that. It was pretty good on the muffin, so I will definitely be trying this more and putting it on more things to see what it tastes good with. Another thing that Brad really enjoys doing is making burgers. So we took out some beef and buns that were in the freezer and decided to have burgers while we watch the Lions game this afternoon. So we had a little bit of a late lunch, early dinner, and these burgers were so good. We actually used some of the diced potatoes that I just processed, which you'll see in a video next week. We used those as a side, and those baked up really nicely. So I'm definitely happy with all the work that I put into the potatoes. So burgers, potatoes, Sunday football. What else could you ask for? So thanks for tuning in with me this week to see my meals and what I've been doing with the items from my pantry and freezer. I hope you have tried somewhat of the pantry challenge, and if you are, I hope you get some inspiration, or if you want to share some ideas, throw them in the comments with what you've been up to this week. It's a whole new week next week, and we're basically starting from scratch again, so we'll see what we can do. But I hope you guys all have a great week, and we'll talk soon.